This is our studio, or one side of our studio. This is the hardware side of the studio as opposed to the software mixing side, which is all done on screen and in Logic over there, behind the camera. So here on this side I have hardware synths and drum machines and effects. So I have a few small keyboards, a bunch of Eventide effects here, Mod Factor, Time Factor, H9s. Then I have two Roland synths, a JP80 and a V-Synth. And both of those have vocoders in that are used on the album, as well as just being regular synths. And this is a machine drum, custom made machine drum with a white face display. And that has all my own samples, hundreds of samples of my own in there. And then I have an ER1, Korg ER1 drum machine that I've had for years that I used to use in Chris and Cosy and Throbbing Gristle. I love the sub bass drum sounds that produces, incredible. And on this side I have my modular, which is in a constant state of flux and refinement, and it doesn't look anything like it did when I started the album. It used to be a lot bigger than this, but I've been rationalising it over the years, and I've found that if I just work on different sections at a time, I'm much more productive than if I try and do patches involving the whole system. So my favourite favourite section at the moment is this Roland section, which is this is analog Roland and this is digital Roland. I love the analog Roland sound. It reminds me of my old 100M system that I used to have many years ago. Here, this whole section is the sequencer section. This is a Coma Complex sequencer called Ellen. It arrived with a little piece of paper that said, please call this sequencer Ellen. So this is Ellen, our master sequencer. And this sequencer drives a lot of this, doing melodies and bass lines and patterns and stuff. And then I have tip-top sequencers here that mainly do percussion and rhythms. And I have a few hands-on controllers here, joysticks and faders. So all of this feeds into this mixer here. In fact, everything here feeds into this sub-mixer, and this sub-mixer has tie lines that go across the studio to an interface that feeds into Logic. So I can just stand here and press record on Logic and it will record whatever I'm doing on here on the multi-channel. And that's basically how I did most of the album, except for the software synths and samplers that I used within Logic. A lot of the album is hardware, and those hardware sounds came from this side of the studio and what I'm doing here.